Welcome back. It's time now for JN Interactive with me, Prince Minka. All right, so this is where tech obviously meets what? You? Of course, we're going to find out what some of you have been saying on the social media. And there's a battle currently going on. And it's not the Trojan War, but this time around it's between the social media and the traditional media. Welcome, I'll tell you more. Remember to join us on our social media or our social networking platform, and we obviously will share your views with the rest of the world. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/joynews on TV, and on Twitter, it's twitter.com/joynews on TV, at Joy News on TV, obviously on Twitter, and then at JN Interactive GH. And obviously, you can send us a mail as well, joynews. I am at multitvworld.com. You can also send us a message on WhatsApp. It's 0540-109009. So let's begin the conversation and let's hear your views on the various issues that we're going to talk about today. And it's obvious, Castro the Destroyer, Hip Life Maestro Castro. Now, social media taking over the role of traditional media, that's the question we've been asking, as has been, the norm over the past few years. Social media users in Ghana have got the whole nation and even the traditional media chasing after a story they broke. Now, here's hip life artist Theophilus Tego, popularly known as Castro. Now, he was reportedly involved in a jet ski accident at a beach resort in Ada on Sunday. But even before the public could get the fine details of the incident, some social media users concluded the African girl's hitmaker was dead. It was on Facebook, it was on Twitter, everywhere. There were a myriad of accounts on social media relating to exactly what happened and where, and as to whether or not the body of the musician has been found. Now, the traditional media, with support from the police, have so far indicated Castro's body has not been found, and as such, a search is ongoing to recover his body. But some social media users insist the body has been found. Well, since social media took the lead on the story, as in breaking the story, we decided to find out from a section of the public where they first heard the story about Castro's accident.
A couple of friends who work on WhatsApp. So I was there when a guy sent a message on WhatsApp that Castro is dead and the whole story. And then later on I heard it on the radio and people were just reporting it. But I think very fast it's on it's on WhatsApp, yeah, that I got to hear it, yeah.
I don't really believe in those two entities because for me, I think he might be dead or still alive. Because since they've not seen his dead body, nobody should just come out there with any news or conclusion that Castro is dead.
Well, when I heard it, I was surprised. First, I heard it through social media. My sister told me, but I thought it was maybe a joke or something. But later I found out that it was true.
Yesterday afternoon, around 1 that way, I was in the house when my mom called us, and she told us that this is what us. Castro and his girlfriend went to Ada, and they got drowned in water.
I heard it through the media, that the traditional media. I was downhearted because there was no sign of sickness or anything like that. There was no sign of him going to experience that kind of thing because nobody dreamt about something like that. But it just came. It just came like that. Nobody knew of anything like coming to happen.
Okay, so those are your views, very interesting ones, and as to how you heard of the issue regarding Castro's accident. Now, there are some of who argue that the advent of social media is gradually making traditional media somehow redundant, but is that really the case? Remember, there have been instances social media has got it all wrong with the announcements of death of famous personalities, in particular And let's go on the lines now and expand this discussion further. We're joined by Kina Likimani. She's a blogger and an ardent social media user. She joins us here with her perspective to this particular issue. Good evening to you, Kina.
Good evening, Prince, and good evening to your viewers and your listeners.
Very well. And I've heard your viewpoint on this particular issue a number of times, and you have maintained that, look, the traditional media needs to be proactive and stop blaming the social media for taking the scoop first. Now, when we have a situation where people get to trust the social media more than the traditional media, is it dangerous?
Well, first of all, number one, your intro where you talk about is social media battling traditional media. You have to understand social media is a collection of citizens made up of all sorts of people, some of whom are journalists. We, the citizens on social media, we were not battling traditional media because we cannot battle you for your job because you have a specific job to do. If traditional media is feeling pressure from social media, and I've said this over and over again, then there is something fundamentally wrong with how media professionals view their job in Ghana, especially. Because if you think that your job as a journalist is to only break news and to not do backstories, to not do fact-checking, then of course you are going to feel pressure from social media. Social media is a collection of citizens who are talking. And sometimes they speak the truth, and sometimes they don't speak the truth. Sometimes they are hasty, and sometimes they are relaxed. They are just a bunch of citizens.
But what we
Do you
have
understand what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
we are not, citizens cannot be in competition with the fourth estate. I want to make this very clear. It is Ghanaian media and professionals who are insisting on sitting behind your desk and behaving as though you are a citizen, just any ordinary citizen, when you are not, you are a journalist. So, for instance, there is a difference when Castro is missing, and there is a difference confirmed death. Castro has not been confirmed dead. Castro is missing, and when someone is missing, you go and you interview the people who are looking for that person.
Okay.
Which traditional media doesn't want to do. You want to sit behind your desk and actually watch how we are talking on social media and report the news. And it isn't news at this point. There are ways in which you should report it.
But here's a situation, someone will break this particular story on social media. I'm glad you brought in Castro's incident because that's still fresh on our minds. Now, the person breaks the story on Facebook and has pictures, really strong pictures, indicating that, look, the man is gone. And you have someone who is so much into social media and perhaps might have not listened to or paid attention to the traditional media, pick this information and say, look, this is it. Social media broke the story. And I'm saying that, look, if this trend should go on, are there some implications we should be wary of or worried about?
First of all, a citizen on social media can witness something and put it on. I have said over and over again, we need to stop with putting pictures of dead of incidents like, you know, dead bodies and all that. But a citizen, I can witness a car accident and take a picture and put it on social media. As to what has actually transpired, it's up to traditional media to report. You, the journalist, you see, that's number. Do you understand what I'm saying? And the problem is journalists don't seem to understand this. Also, like a lot of us, we still depend on traditional media to do the legwork of reporting. Also, you cannot, you see, when you use the word break a story in relation to a citizen on social media doing a post, that is also kind of misleading. Citizens don't break stories. You know, people talking about breaking stories. That's a journalistic thing.
But
we tell our stories, and
I've heard citizens on social media say we are breaking a rumor.
But you see what I'm trying to say? I can get up in the morning and say I'm eating watches. Does that make me a journalist?
Well,
you see what I'm saying? My point comes back to the fact that Ghanaian journalists, you seem too ready to give up your responsibility and your job. And what is your mandate? And claim that you are all doing some of these things you shouldn't do, like not confirming, not waiting for confirmation, and also going and putting stuff on your website as though you were actually on Twitter. But when you misinform, when you misbreak, let's say misbreak, because yesterday some of you said that Castro had died. Castro is missing. Even today, Castro is still missing.
Absolutely.
But if you put that on your website, then you are misinforming.
And so,
We don't have websites of we don't have media organizations to put this. We are saying something on Twitter, and you guys have to filter. I want to also go beyond the Castro issue and also tie it into what happened to the 156 World Bank loan.
Yeah.
Again, press misinforming, because instead of actually looking at the documents that was available online at the World Bank site and doing some analysis, you go in with these headlines, these analyses that are not in depth, and that is news. The reason traditional media is feeling pressure from social media is the sheer lack of professionalism that goes into news reporting, the lack of depth, the lack of analysis. All of this we can't do. We are not media people.
And so how do you have, citizens on social media help those in the traditional media, the professionals, do your work correctly?
But of course, you can reach out. If somebody reports something on social media, I've had BBC people say, "Oh, Kinga, can you point me to?" If I say that, "Oh, I think it has to do with some robotics competition." So I said, Ghana is going to be in the robotics competition. And I think it was someone from BBC who reached out to say, can I give them the information? They would like to follow up. So then I give them the information that I have, and they follow up. So journalists can approach citizens and say, can you give me more information? I will follow up. Number one, it is not for social media people to do the follow-up, because we are not journalists. Number two, if you reach out to a citizen and they don't want to help you follow up, move on and go and find another citizen, go and do the follow-up somewhere else. But that's the one way we can help. But it's not increasingly, especially with the PV being case, and now with Castro, it's as though social media is to blame. When social media is not to blame, we are not a media. We are not like a hive of a media organization.
And so it will be wrong for anyone to argue that, look, if we continue to see a trend where social media information seems misleading, we need to check, we need to put some form of regulation. Would it be wrong for someone to raise such an argument?
You cannot regulate citizens talking. Because let me repeat, citizens talking does not take the place of media work. So for instance, if someone comes on and says that this has happened to Castro, this is what I think. What is a media professional supposed to do? You're supposed to actually get off your chair, go to Adan, interview police people, interview eyewitnesses, actually do the work. I keep coming back to actually doing the work. So Ghanaian media isn't prepared to do the work. The solution is not to turn around and say you're going to gag social media users. I want to make this absolutely clear.
Yeah. And so regulating
also,
is absolutely not the way.
Another point I want to say also is that the court, we had this case in Ghana where a young man put nude pictures of his girlfriend nude in an attempt to intimidate her. That young man was prosecuted, and he is now, I think he was given like 6 months. So it's not like citizens are not liable for what we say. But this artificial battle that you traditional media want to put on social media users, I don't understand where that's coming from. There's a whole world of Ghana to report. There's a whole world of Ghana to report, a whole bunch of things to say, things that you should do to make us understand, but you want to take the easy way out and break news. And you know what? When it comes to breaking news, you cannot beat the citizen, because you know what? The journalist cannot be at 100 and 1,000 places at once. News happens where citizens are. So if you are looking at your role as solely news breaking, then the citizen will break it first.
Okay. Now,
but we are saying that there is more to journalism than just breaking news.
Absolutely.
And that is what Ghanaian media doesn't seem to get. And I, for one, I am tired of discussing this issue because you guys don't seem to want to change.
Well, let's move on a little bit. And I just want to bring in this. Talk about catching up, playing well, I wouldn't call it a game. Talking about getting the social media to catch up with traditional media. Now, I want you to look into the crystal ball and tell me if that is likely to happen any moment from time.
In terms of like, you see, you are comparing apples and oranges. Social media can only reach more citizens. More citizens can make their voices heard on social media, but we cannot catch up with traditional media because we are a different kind of animal. Just like how traditional media is a different kind of animal. This is what I'm trying to say. So I can, for instance, say that my water didn't come this morning, but I cannot. I am not a journalist. I cannot give a full picture as to why my water didn't come in like to be. That is the work of traditional media. So there is no catching up. There is just a lot more citizens. As more people become literate, as the cost of internet goes down, we hope. As people get access, there will be more citizens coming on social media. And you know what they're going to do? They're just going to do more of what they are already doing. The issue is for traditional media to actually, you can actually improve the quality of your reporting by looking at what citizens are talking about online and following up with the story. But if you want to depend on citizens to actually make the story, we are a different kind. You know what I mean? So it's not an issue of catching up to traditional media. Look at it as a hive. I mean, I can't even fathom how social media and traditional media, it's like they're in a competition. No, this is all about telling citizen stories. And traditional media has a way of doing it. It has history behind it. And it has methods and journalistic practices behind it. The only other people in social media who can say be equal on some level to traditional media are bloggers. But if you take the bloggers out, who are just a few, they are just not even one, they're not even 1% of social media users. The vast majority of social media users are citizens. There is no catching up to. We don't have, the platform is big. And I can say something and perhaps reach somebody in Indonesia faster than a newspaper article, an article in the graphic. But those are two different things, and they serve two different functions. And in a democracy, it's very different.
Okay, now
we complement. We should look at each other as complementary and not in competition.
Okay, very well. Now, speaking of the traditional media, I would want you to hold on briefly as we listen to, which of these two media outlets the public is beginning to feel is more trustworthy. Just listen to this.
All right.
For me, I just heard it from WhatsApp. Actually, we were just sitting with a friend, and then he just had a WhatsApp from a friend that's saying that Castro is being drowned with Asamoah, but Asamoah was able to rescue by the rescue team or something. And then I said, okay, it might be true because, Ghanaians are fond of doing that. I don't really believe in those things, the social and then the traditional. I don't really. For me, what I can say or believe in it is when actually they've seen the dead body. Probably if from the social or the traditional media, I don't really care about that. If I've seen a dead body, if either by the social or the traditionalists or whatever they call themselves, I would believe it.
The traditional one, I heard it very early on.
Well, I think that the traditional media is the one that can give us the real information. Because on social media like WhatsApp, people do send a lot of stuff at times. It may be a scam or something. You cannot really put your trust in that. But when I heard it on radio, that was a confirmation, and on TV also it was a confirmation of the real news as to what really happened. Yeah.
So you heard your responses, but does that surprise you in any way?
It doesn't, but what I want to say, I want to urge Ghanaians that the sight of a dead body, we shouldn't put the confirmation on the site of the dead body. We should put the confirmation, we should get the confirmation from the police after the police have done their due diligence. So it is up to the police to confirm to us what has happened. It's not the dead body. I cannot stress that enough. We have a fetish about dead bodies in Ghana, which we absolutely have to stop immediately because it is just not right. It is the police that must confirm the series of events, and if anything has happened to which we can't find Castro. It is the police. Always, it is the police. And if the police give the confirmation, they give the confirmation most likely to the traditional media. The traditional media reports it, and everybody on social media takes it and retweets it. That's a series of events.
Okay.
That is a series of events. It doesn't happen any other way, and we must educate ourselves not to accept it any other way. Confirmation comes from police after they've done their due diligence. That news is reported to traditional media. Social media picks it up from. I'm a social media activist, and that is the way it should be.
All right. Now,
as for where people trust, I also want to say that, you know, it doesn't bother me as much if somebody says they don't trust social media. Those of us on social media who want the platform to represent some kind of news site, we have a lot of work to do. But it must absolutely bother Ghanaian media, the fourth estate, if Ghanaians are saying they don't trust you. Because you have a different burden, and we on social media have a different burden. But if the Ghanaians are saying they don't trust traditional media, that is a problem.
Indeed.
It is a problem for us, it is a problem for our democracy.
Okay. Finally, is there any way we can actually make social media more responsible in terms of what they put out?
Well, the way we can make it is that I think, you know, we have this thing, I have this thing where I say policing. Those of us who sort of want it to be a better environment, and there are lots of things good about social media, lots of things that are wrong about social media. We have to be constantly speaking out about the wrong things on social media to social media users. So I don't do this, but it's okay to do that. If you say this, you are hurting people. That's how we do it, because it is a citizen-run place. If you take out the pornographic and the bullying and the spamming, which the owners of the platforms expect you to report, if you take those out, the rest of how to make social media a safe environment that reports good news is the work of citizens. It's like a market where you have people who go around saying, this is no, we shouldn't, we police ourselves. And that's how to do it, short of, you know, the usual stuff that you can report to Facebook and you can report to Twitter. That's how we do it. That's how we do it.
But no one seems to be checking on these. So, you know, then again...
No one seems to be checking on what?
On some of the excesses. I mean, the negativities that we see on the social media in terms of some of the stories.
Yes. Look, a lot of work is going on. But I think that it is not, like I'm saying, if you see something on social media, everybody must speak up. But if you don't speak up because you say, oh, I'm just going to let this slide, or you see a questionable image and you continue to post it on Facebook, retweet it, you are part of the problem. So social media is, like I said, a citizen-run platform. So we have to police ourselves, but increasingly, people see something objectionable. They know they shouldn't retweet it, but for the sensational value, they will retweet it, they will repost it, they'll you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
And people must stop themselves, but we must do a lot of education to say, continuing to do this causes a lot of harm.
Very well. I'm going to have to thank you very much for talking to us this evening. I'm
hoping that, you know what,
right.
I think this is the second time you guys have called me to talk about this issue. I hope there's not a third. I hope that Ghanaian traditional media actually fixes this problem, because some of us are getting tired now of this issue of breaking news when there's no need to rush to break the news, because social media is talking about it. Your responsibilities are very different. Your responsibilities are actually to our democracy. Let me make that statement.
Okay.
So thank you.
Thank you too. You take care. All right, so bye. This is still JN Interactive here on Joy News on Multi TV, and I'm going to go through some of the issues that you are raising us on our social networking platform. James is sending a message from Kaneshi, and he says, look, I don't trust traditional media sometimes because they can also get bad in terms of the stories that they break. Okay, we'll try and put that up on the screen for you shortly. Another one is also coming in from Margaret Atachi, sending this one from East Legon. She says, I first heard of the supposedly death of Castro on social media, and I didn't believe it, but well, thank you very much for your message there. We'll try and read most of them shortly for you. This is still JN Interactive here on Joy News on Multi TV. And another one here is also coming in from Eric, sending this one from, I think you're sending this one from the Spintex Road. You said you're glad that we are discussing this particular topic, and the time is now for us to ensure that there's some form of regulation on the social media platform. Well, I certainly agree with you. Okay, let's look at some of them a lot more. This one here from Alex Kofi. He says, can someone tell me that Castro was having a life jacket on? If yes, the body can be easily found. To take about 3 to 4 days before the body can be found, because I have witnessed such an incident before in my hometown. And you're concluding, well, we don't know if Castro is dead or alive, but the search continues, and you're saying that his soul should rest in peace. Well, those are your messages. Well, thank you very much. That'll be it for Journey Interactive, and of course today's big story. My name is Prince Minka, and I actually did this for Marian Tire. She'll be back tomorrow, don't worry. But I expect a lot more stories at 8 with Israel Lai on News at 8. Good night.